That was the technique. That was the technique to close him. I'm going to take him home.
I'm surprised they didn't put more leg room in it. Yeah. I mean, even 4 inches, you know?
Yeah. I've been telling my wife 4 inches is all we need.
Bring it over on the track. There you go.
Yeah, he was telling me you put a car. I remember when my VA almost died on a go-kart on that. You can put a car on that?
I had my vet on there a fair amount lately.
How much space is there on the side?
12 inches. 12 feet.
So you got to be pretty good at driving cars to make that work, right?
Yeah, I mean, easier than all-wheel drive, apparently.
Yeah. I bought a 2002 GT Mustang the other day, and I put that on there. Dude, it was great. Rear-wheel drive, no traction control. It's pretty light enough.
What's up?
Yo!
We are at Hot Head Burritos corporate office. Here to talk about the Burrito Whisperer.
The Burrito Whisperer. Who's that?
It's Ray Wiley. Randy is our van of white containers because we just bought 7 acres to build on. But we're not building on it until like a year.
Right.
And so I want to put a shipping container on it to put 18.
We don't make it.
Make your pitch, man. I pitched the best I could.
I feel you. So this is Max, by the way. This kind of ties in with all this because Max films a lot of the behind the scenes and podcast stuff. Part of my concept with this, we mentioned this a while back, is that the segment, the differentiation of something. And a buddy of mine, it was kind of comical about 6 months ago. He was at my office. He owns a medical massage franchise somewhere in Lexington, and we were talking about the franchise world. And he said that he spent, when he decided he wanted to do a franchise, he's looking at everything. He was restaurants, med spas, all sorts of crap. And the thing he talked about was he had no affiliation with anything. He didn't really love or hate anything. And it took him 2 years to figure it out. And so when, to pick one.
And he picked whatever he wanted, not because of it.
Yeah, and so through that concept, what got me also thinking about was I was out in Arizona, we have a client that owns 2 of those Cineholics. And I was talking to him, and he was telling me his background. He's like, I was a teacher in California. I got tired of California schools. We moved to Arizona. I got here and realized that Arizona teachers don't make what California teachers make. And so I decided to do a franchise and hired a consultant and went down this path. And a year and a half later, landed on Cineholic or whatever, Cinnabon, something like that. And I was asking the process of it because it was intriguing, like a teacher going to that.
Right.
And it was just for him, he was talking about the guidance of the people through the process. And I know from the hothead world, when I look at everything you guys do, is that obviously growing the franchises is different. And when I've seen all the franchise marketing, for me, it all looks identical. And so like when I was looking at this and talking to Ray and a long time ago about I think I called it the Pizza King back then, and then talking to Peter about it, what I found with my brand, it's grown differently. I got a stupid sports car that I like driving occasionally, that habit. And then we've got the wrapped vans. It all traces back to content. This morning, an ad agency called me with 8 independent casual dining restaurants. He's like, Matt, I've known Paul for what, 15 years? Oh, yeah. Calls me this morning. He goes, hey, saw one of your shorts the other day on YouTube. It's the short versions, like that kind of real Instagram reels on YouTube. And he said, long story short, it led to a 45-minute video of me watching your podcast with Hillcrest Foods about digital marketing. Guys,
Paul Nagel?
Huh?
Paul Nagel?
Paul Nagel. No, Paul Froad, sorry. And he owns an agency in Cincinnati. House of Ads or something, and we were talking. He's like, that 45-minute podcast is what got me on the phone with you. And so I see that every day. I've got a ice cream place, 2-location place in Miami that signed up today, that has been following me on Instagram and found me on a podcast, Restaurant Unstoppable, 6 months ago. And literally every single Instagram reel that goes up, I can guarantee you he likes it. See it. And after watching him do it, I messaged him and said, man, what do you like the most about my content? He commented back. We had a meeting. He's a client. And so for me, there's a unique element that nobody's doing with any like that kind of stuff. And so for you guys, the difference, what I was telling Peter, is that Matt Plapp, I use it from a B2B standpoint. I have no consumer side. For Hothead, there's the consumer side, that if we had a podcast and a behind-the-scenes piece of content on a weekly basis being distributed, that content would not only resonate with professionals looking for, feedback from, looking for things to follow, looking for people to follow, entrepreneurs, People are intrigued by stories, but at the same time, when you're in a Hot Head location doing menu testing or putting in the new toaster program and looking through the whole line and going through the product, that's going to also create content for consumers. You ever heard the term blue ocean, red ocean? The concept is that in the business world, most businesses play in the red ocean. If I open up Reach magazine right now, there's going to be 10 pizza places in there with the same freaking coupon. And they're fighting over the exact same people. And the reason it's called red ocean is there's blood in the water because everybody's going after the same exact customer. Blue ocean is when you're doing shit that nobody else is doing. When you're doing content for your restaurant or for your company that is going to connect with consumers at a different level when there's nobody in the water. And it's not a short-term play. It doesn't pay off tomorrow, it pays off in 5 years. When you do things in the blue ocean, you separate yourself and you stand out. For me, the red ocean is every month. I see Franchise Times, I see all the different magazines, it's the same ads in there. My buddy Tony, when he was talking about the med spa thing, he said, yeah, I looked at every magazine. But at that point, it was like going to the grocery store hungry. I'm looking at 40 different things. I'm not affiliated with one item. Whereas if I would have went into that process thinking, watching Ray Wiley, watching this, watching the podcast, seeing stuff, and over the course of a year go, shit, I want to do a franchise. What am I going to franchise with? Oh, Hot Head. And so to me, that's the red ocean of this, the Google. You go to Google right now and start doing stuff, Google searches, everybody's buying pay-per-click ads. There's no shortage of it. The other side of the red ocean is the consumer side of it. This is pretty funny. This came up 2 weeks ago. I was with a client doing a little coaching session about creating content inside their pizza restaurant. One location pizza restaurant up in Faribault, Minnesota. And I said, I'm gonna show you something. Connie listens to everything my team says. If I call her and say, hey, do a video standing on your head with hockey skates on, she'd do it. And so I said, I'm gonna show you an example. Let's pull up Papa John. Papa John's has 6.6 million fans on their page. So I'm gonna pull up their Facebook page and I'm gonna compare it to Basilio's, who has 4,600. Basilio's, with 1,300 times less followers, gets more engagement on her Facebook post than Papa John's. This Papa John's post right here from the other day, 3 shares, 19 likes, and they have 6.6 million followers. Why? Because all they're doing is repurposing their produced content from TV to Facebook and to Instagram and to TikTok. And every one of those social platforms squashes the content because consumers don't log into Facebook to see advertisements. They log in to see funny cat videos and argue about Hillary and Trump and all that bullshit. Yeah. But when you can interrupt that with content, it's different. Chipotle is the same way. 3.3 million fans, 1,000 likes. I had a restaurant, the Steel Coop in, what was that, in Tennessee?
Yeah.
Down in Tennessee, we filmed that 2 weeks ago, a post that they made with our America's Best Restaurants van in front of it, 1,100 likes. They have like 4,000 fans.
Yeah.
But the question is, do you want to become the Burrito Whisperer?
Doesn't scare me.
Yeah, that was part of me sitting through this or thinking about it was, like you mentioned, most of the franchises are phone calls. Most of the franchises are really somebody knew somebody who already has a franchise.
A lot of word of mouth.
Right, a lot of word of mouth. And that, the word of this
is word of mouth.
This is word of mouth, effectively.
Doug, how many people call you and are disappointed I'm not on the call?
Bunch.
He's my director of sales. They literally, the one guy said, I got my orange shirt on, he's expecting Matt, and he'll text me like, dude, are you on the property? You know what? Yeah. Just come look at the camera.
Hi.
Oh yeah, he'll come in my office just to poke his head around, and you can just they're like, oh, Matt's there. And I'm like, I've known him forever. Like, it's just Matt.
It's just
but
Matt.
the people see him on the Zoom,
Sure.
and it's like Santa Claus just
It's
showed
an icon.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you become an icon, and that's what people are buying.
For me, it's been cool to see because I've always thought of myself as different than I was 10 years ago, but I never had the balls to accept it. I never had the balls to go out and do some of the stuff I've done now. And now that I do it, it's funny because I went to a food show at South Carolina with Cisco. I spoke at their thing. I had people walking up taking selfies with me. I'm like, God, you got problems. If I'm your selfie.
Yeah.
But it all started literally with the phone. And that's why, I mean, I see my business as my job, and that's what Doug always jokes about is what's on your plate that can come off so you can be on camera more often. So you can do more behind the scenes, more podcasts, more speeches, because every time you do that shit, our phone rings more often.